don't throw punches, man. He said it ain't about how many, it's about the right time. Well, there was no right time against Pacquiao.
Injuries, and that could happen in boxing. We've seen this. Manny Pacquiao isn't immune to this. He's been knocked out. He's been hit. He's not Floyd, who has been hardly hit. Like, he's been knocked out cold.
Doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC and fight for a world title. What about all the other guys that are waiting around? It's wrong. We seen Manny Pacquiao fight.
Stephen A. Smith confronts Manny Pacquiao about his return to boxing at 46 years old. He believes Manny is past his prime and says the fight shouldn't happen now. According to him, throwing punches at that age is risky and will likely lead to a knockout due to declining physical abilities.
Bad. I really, really do. And you got to remember, when you get up there in age, I mean, when you go down like that, there's a lot of collateral damage that could potentially.
Veteran analysts across the sport are raising serious concerns about Manny Pacquiao's decision to return at 46 years old to face an active younger contender like Mario Barrios. Having spent 5 years away from the ring, Pacquiao's reflexes, endurance, and punch resistance are naturally diminished. Medical professionals familiar with combat sports warned that fighters at this age are more susceptible to head trauma, brain injury, and slower recovery from blows, unlike a staged event or an exhibition. This is a real-world title fight. The physical toll from such a matchup could carry irreversible damage, especially for a legend whose body has already endured decades of punishment inside the ring.
What's the worst case scenario? Someone gets seriously hurt. Someone has like life-altering injuries, and that could happen in boxing. We've seen this. Manny Pacquiao isn't immune to this. He's been knocked out. He's been hit. He's not Floyd, who has been hardly hit. Like, he's been knocked out cold. I thought when he got knocked out by Marquez, I thought he died. It was that scary.
Yeah.
Remember that one? So
I do.
Ultimately, I'm most surprised that if it hasn't been officially announced, if it lands in Nevada or California, I'll be very surprised and dare I say disappointed.
Ricky Hatton, once a champion in his own right, seems surprised rather than impressed by Pacquiao's return. Reflecting on the volatility of modern boxing, Hatton questioned the wisdom of jumping straight into a title fight without any tune-up bouts or gradual re-entry. According to Hatton, the unpredictability of today's matchups makes this comeback even more risky. Though he showed respect for Pacquiao's achievements, his comments revealed a deeper concern that this decision could be driven by external pressures rather than competitive hunger.
WBC title, a number of years out of the ring. What do you make of it?
Well, one, I hope he doesn't get hurt. I think there's every chance he could do. Secondly, I think how has he got to a world title shot? 5th in the world, imagine if he was number 1 and 2 in the division and trained all your life to get there, and then Manny comes in after being retired 5 years or whatever it is, and goes into number 5 in the division. Boxing these days.
While much of the conversation focuses on Pacquiao, a growing number of critics are also scrutinizing Mario Barrios. Facing someone 17 years older who's been out of the sport for half a decade has raised ethical concerns. Analysts argue that this is not a test of skill, but a strategic mismatch. Barrios could have chosen opponents who are active prime fighters within his division. Defeating Pacquiao in this context offers little in terms of prestige or ranking credibility.
Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao are in talks for the WBC welterweight title fight. They want to do it in Vegas. Pacquiao is 45 and hasn't competed since August 2021 in a decision loss. Mario Barrios is definitely trying to stat pad at this point. In a stacked welterweight division, you can fight Crawford. If you don't want to fight someone who's coming off a W, fight Spence Jr. Go fight Jaron or Stanius, Fight one of the top 4 fighters. You're ranked top 5 and you want to fight Manny Pacquiao. That's stat padding. That shouldn't even count as a win. And I love Manny Pacquiao, but, in his prime, he would definitely beat Mario Barrios, but it's past his prime. Hasn't fought in 3 years. Is 45 years old. It's time to hang it up, bud. I will say, though, if he somehow miracle pulls it off, it'll be the greatest win, I think, in my opinion.
Shane Mosley acknowledged Manny Pacquiao's legacy as one of the sport's most decorated icons. He praised his courage, endurance, and the legendary career that has inspired millions, but Mosley didn't shy away from pointing out the biological truth: fighters can't escape the impact of aging. Speed, timing, and stamina deteriorate, often without warning. In his own experience, Mosley said, age doesn't just slow a fighter, it changes how they react under pressure.
Manny Pacquiao coming inducted into the Hall of Fame next month. What is your take on that, having had to share the ring with him?
It was a great time. Like I said, I was injured when I fought him, but it was just good. You know, it was being another great, and man is very sharp, very strong, and it's so real.
But what's your take on him fighting Mr. Mario Barrios next? I think it was July.
Youth sometimes can be hard on you, but we'll see what Manny can do as far as he train himself to be able to keep up with Mario. So, anybody can do it, but maybe Manny can. I don't know.
No one disputes the magnitude of Manny Pacquiao's boxing career. He's the only man in history to win titles in 8 different weight divisions. His rise from poverty to global superstardom is legendary, but it's precisely because of this iconic IC status that many fans and analysts are concerned about his return. They believe his legacy is already sealed. There's nothing left to prove. Coming back to fight at the elite level after years away could not only result in physical harm, but also blur the clean finish he had previously achieved.
Sense, like being a world champion means you are the best in the world. You are the champion of this world at your weight class. We all know right now, at least to me, it's common knowledge that that's Jerome Boots Ennis. At 147, he is the best in the world. But he doesn't hold all 4 belts, so he is only one of the 2 or 3, I guess now, world champions. Doesn't make sense to me, and especially when now you're the WBC and you're like, yeah, let's bring in Manny Pacquiao to potentially win a world championship. And let's say he pulls it off by some miracle. Are we going to put Manny Pacquiao in there with Boots Ennis? Is that what we're going to do? I hope not. And again, this is not me trying to be a hater. It's just, I don't want to see Manny get hurt. And Barrios, not the biggest puncher in the world, but he can hurt it badly. He is a volume puncher, and he will be in there against a guy that, again, isn't a natural 147. Even if he finished his career at 147, that's not where Manny was his best self. He's definitely going to be at a massive size disadvantage here. Height, reach, everything. Again, when Manny was in his prime, or, honestly, when he was still in his late 30s and early 40s before he retired, he could have handled that. His speed was still there. The consistency was still there. He wasn't running for political office and doing all this other stuff and taking time off. We see this time and time again. When a boxer retires, takes a long time off, and then comes back, it usually, again, outside of George Foreman, rest in peace to the GOAT, it usually doesn't go well. And I don't think this is going to either. And it's clear to me that this is done for, a staging of an event versus the actual competitive nature of the fight. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong and that Manny still has it, but I'm just going to go with what makes the most sense. The WBC and whoever they partner with on this is going to try to sell tickets off of it. Okay, that's fine, but what's the point of the belt if this...
The conversation within boxing circles has grown louder as the fight draws near. Analysts warned that Pacquiao's combination of age, inactivity, and the strength of his opponent could be a recipe for disaster. Some have gone as far as to suggest that sanctioning bodies like the WBC should step in to reconsider the fight's approval. The concern isn't just about losing, it's about the possibility of a brutal knockout that could cause lasting damage.
So Manny Pacquiao's going to get knocked out by Mario Barrios. And I get it, Mario Barrios is far from a good fighter. Mario Barrios is one of the worst champions in all of boxing, but Manny Pacquiao is so old, bro. I think a lot of you guys forget Manny Pacquiao fought last year, and he arguably lost to a Muay Thai kickboxer dude. This dude wasn't even a boxer. Yes, he was really big, but the dude was just not a boxer. Honestly, I think the WBC should call this fight off. I think it's not too late to kind of go back on your word and let's call this one off. This fight should not be sanctioned by anybody. This fight should not be allowed. At least Mario Barrios should be stripped of his WBC title for defending it against a 46-year-old. Is there a slim chance Manny Pacquiao is able to outmaneuver him and maybe outpoint him, punch, around him? Yeah, maybe. But realistically, it won't happen. But if he does, I think it will solidify him as the greatest boxer of all time. No questions about it. I think if he does win this fight, it would put him clearly over Ali, Ray Robinson, Ray Leonard, and Floyd Mayweather. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on how y'all feel about this.
This comeback has sparked an unusual type of criticism. Unlike celebrity fights that are clearly exhibitions, Pacquiao's return is positioned as a legitimate title shot. Some purists argue this sends the wrong message about boxing standards. They believe it sets a troubling precedent where spectacle and revenue are prioritized over athletic merit. Comparisons have been drawn to Tyson versus Paul, but critics say at least that was a novelty.
Really, there's the thought. It's an absolute joke. I love Manny Pacquiao. Love everything about him. An all-time great in terms of what he's done previous, but that doesn't entitle you to just walk back in after 6 years and get a number 4 ranking with the WBC and fight for a world title. What about all the other guys that are waiting around? It's wrong. We seen Manny Pacquiao fight an exhibition against a kickboxer in his last fight, and kickboxers can't box, right? I've seen world champion kickboxers coming and sparring boxers. They can't box. They can kick, but they can't, and they can kick and box a little bit. They can't really box, and Manny didn't look great. I mean, yeah, I don't know. The WBC, I think they have a lot of time for him, Richie O'Sullivan, but I think it's a mistake, really do, and they should be quite embarrassed allowing a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao straight in for a world title fight.